Welcome to part 12 of the Deep Space Nine space station build-up. In this update, to begin with, I'm just going to go through putting the sub-assemblies together. So I'm going to start on the upper docking ring, and also the inner core, as I've nicknamed it now. I need to get these two parts together first. It is a slight deviation to the original plan that I had, because I was going to be attaching the inner core to the lower section of the docking ring first, as that was going to be the easiest way to do it for the soldering. However, when I was looking at the logistics of it all a little bit further, just to come up with the finalised game plan to put everything together, I suddenly realised that we've got parts that actually come out and bolt onto the spokes on the upper docking section, which would have meant that if I would have done it the original way, we wouldn't have been able to get the top on. I'll just show you what that looks like close up. So let me just get in there. Okay, so we've got here three sections. So we've got this little part that comes in off of the inner core that basically then sits on top of the spoke, and then it's exactly the same on all three of them. So as I say, if we would have put this in place first on the lower section of the docking ring, we wouldn't have been able to have got these parts underneath these little sections here. So basically I've had to glue this to this section first, which is going to make it slightly trickier to put all the wire in, do all the soldering for the wiring, because we've got these strands of wire here that are coming from the base of this pylon here, and then we've also got some more wires here that come from the base of this pylon. Now those wires will need to be fed through their corresponding pylons to come out the base. So that's going to make it slightly tricky with everything attached to that. Plus the fact, if I zoom into the back of the back pylon, you'll also be able to see that we've got. Let me just zoom out a bit. It's struggling to focus. Okay, let's just zoom out a little bit more. That's a bit better. There you go. So we've also got these wires here as well, and they're situated on all three pylons. And these need to be soldered onto the wires that are basically on the bottom section of the docking ring. So that's going to make it slightly more tricky now to solder those on. I'm going to have to either try and winch this up, prop it up from the base when I do the wiring, or turn the whole thing on its side and try and support it from that angle to see if I can do the wiring from there. I'm not sure yet. I'm just going to need to experiment with that a little bit further, but this part at the moment is attached, it's glued in place, and I just need to let this dry for a little while longer before I decide to do anything else with it. So as soon as that's all dried off properly, and I've come up with the game plan that I need for all of the soldering, I will come back to you with another update. Richard back with you for a quick update. As you can see there, one of the little shuttlecraft that's all lit up there. So that means we're running on that mains power now, which is absolutely great. So I just pan out now, and that's the rest of the model there. And you can see that we've got the floodlights on either side there, and we've got some of the windows shining through as well, which is great. The upper and lower half aren't actually glued together properly at the moment. All I've done is I've just clamped it all together. Really, I just wanted to check to make sure that none of the wires were going to be cut by anything on the inside or crimped, stop any power coming through, just to basically make sure that there wasn't really any fit issues along the way. It was a bit of a struggle to get it together, and there is a little bit of work left in some areas to do to try and get it to fit, but once it's fitted together, all I need to do then is do some light blocking, and then a little bit of touch-up paint, and then I think there's a few more windows that need to be put in as well, and once they're in, it will almost be ready. After that, it'll just be a case of getting the docking bays in, and then getting the little antenna up on the top there, and should be done. So still a ways to go at the moment, but at least we've got some really good progress on this model. I'm really happy with the progress at the moment. So I just thought I'd show you guys where we were on it. And I just pan around so we can actually have a look at the other little shuttlecraft for you, because I think they are, sorry, the little runabouts should I say. So I think they are awesome little, I think they're really good the way that they turned out. So there's the other one, with its back to us at the moment. But yeah, I'm happy with the way it is. You can see there we've got some fairly horrendous light leaks, but you can see the windows coming through on that now, which is absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to carry on, get this thing glued together, and start on the light leak, or the light leaks should I say, and once that's done I'll come back to you for another update. Back with you for another quick update, and in the words of Anakin Skywalker, yippee! We've got the model put together at long last. It's all glued down, everything's holding, which is fantastic. I've only just taken the clamps off of this. It's been drying overnight, and I got to admit I did have a bit of a weird dream last night that I was actually displaying this live on TV, and I was taking all the clamps off, and as soon as I took all the clamps off, it all fell apart, and I'm standing there looking dumbfounded saying it shouldn't have happened like that. But luckily enough, it didn't happen like that in real life. So I'm quite pleased. But yeah, she's not looking too bad. There's a lot of work left to do, really, around the inside and around the outside for the seams. But it's starting to come together. So I'm just going to carry on, get all the seams sorted out, get all the light leaks dealt with. And as soon as that's all done, I will come back to you with another update. Back with you for another quick update. As you can see, the DS9's weld has been flipped upside down. It's just easier to work on the model like this, just to get the seams filled in around the edges there, and also some of the seams on the inside as well. It's just proven to be easier for me to flip the model upside down and do it. Sorry, excuse me. So I've been working on all of the seams. There's some there that you'll still be able to see where it's just paint that needs to hide the seams. But on the gaps, I've been using the perfect plastic putty again, with the little applicator that comes with it. Now the good thing is with one of these, if you can do a fairly good job at icing a cake, then it's going to be a breeze for this. I've also been using cotton buds to mop up the excess, and I've also been using water as well just to help wipe it down. I do need to let the putty dry completely now, so it's going to be tomorrow before I start working on this again. But all I need to do is just go around with a soft damp cloth just to pick up any of the powder that remains. And then I just need to go in and start painting again. So it's looking quite good. There are some leaks, like as you can see around this edge here. That's just basically a lack of paint in those areas that's causing those leaks. So I just need to go back over and paint those, and the same with these kind of gaps around there. But all of the major gaps have all been filled in. There was one on here that was quite big. Now the perfect plastic putty, oh, try saying that 10 times, did fill the gap, but I think because the gap was so big, the plastic putty got sucked into the gap, which meant that I had to go back and do it again. But all of the other smaller seams, it stayed exactly where it's meant to be, so I won't need to go over those again. So that's pretty good. And as it's getting a bit dark, I will turn the lights off for you so you can see what the windows look like in a bit of darkness. So here goes. And there you go, and that's what she's starting to look like in the dark. I'll just zoom in a little bit further for you so you can see some of the individual windows coming through. And there you go. So she is starting to look really, really good. And I'll see if I can zoom in a little bit further to the back of the model so you can see some of the windows on the outer docking ring without it blurring too much. I think that's about as far as we're going to be able to go, really. But as you can see, it's not looking too bad. So that's about it for the moment. As soon as I've got this all the seams painted, I will come back to you. We're back with another update. We've got some success. The light leaks have been taken care of. 3 days of solid non-stop working on light leaks. We've finally managed to get rid of them. So that's great. I'm happy with that. The only things that are left to do now really on the station at this stage is to get the windows done on the inside of the docking ring and get the docking pylons in place too. Until the docking pylons are in, there's still going to be a few light leaks on the outside, but as I say, once the docking rings are in place, that will take care of them. So I'm happy with the way that the progress is going. And as it's dark at the moment, I thought I would get the anti-collision lights on and the weapon cell warning beacons on as well, so you could take a look at those. Obviously they're not flashing at the moment because the board's not built, and as I think I've said before, that won't be built until the last minute really. But I thought it would give you a good idea of what it looks like with the lights just as a steady on. So I'll get the lights turned out. So there you go. So you can hopefully see the 3 points of light. We've got one just there, and then there's another one just there, and another one just there. So they'll be blinking, and then obviously we've got the observation windows underneath. And as you can hopefully see there, we've got the defensive weapon sales warning beacons on. So that's looking great. I'm just going to bring the camera down a little bit for you so we can see one of the little shuttlecraft. This is the one that's in flight mode. As you can see there, well, you can just barely see the model itself, but you can see the glow of the warp engines, also the warp nacelles, and the Bussard scoops, and also the little lights at the front of the cockpit, which is absolutely fantastic. And then if we just take a swing round, you can see the warning beacon there, which is great. And then there's the other little shuttlecraft, sorry, a runabout. Let's just see if we can zoom in without blurring too much. Yep, there you go. So they're looking great. It's just a shame, I don't know what happened to the third one. I don't know where that went to, so it's a bit of a shame. And then if we just zoom out a little bit and then pan round, you can see now the effect of the floodlights. If we just bring it down a bit, there you go. So you can see the effect of the floodlights there, and you can see there's that gap there, but that's where the the docking port goes. So if I just put my thumb over that, for instance, like so, you can see that that just disappears and it settles down a bit. And then if we just go down a little bit more and then pan the camera up a bit, you can now see the underside, the power core, and all the lights that are underneath it as well there. So that is looking really, really good now. I'm really happy with the progress on this so far. So I'm going to call that quits for now, guys. Let's just bring the camera up a little bit. There we go. I'm going to call this, as I say, I'm going to call this quits now on this video, because it's going to be getting a bit long again. And I'll catch up with you in the next video, and hopefully by then I should have the docking rings in place, and also the other windows on the inside of the docking ring. And I have also decided that I'm going to build and display the Mini Defiant with this. I know it's the wrong scale, but it's just something that I want to do. I think, even though it is a little bit too big, I think it will look okay with it, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So I'll leave that as it is, and then I will come back to you in the next video with more progress on the kit. So until then, guys, please do take care.